Well, hi everyone, and welcome to Rob Evans 365. This is day number 408, and continuing on from our theme for this last 10 days or so in setting you up for success and making sure that we have all the elements in place for a successful, optimized health, body transformation, whatever it is that you're looking to achieve in your body. Then today it's Saturday, and normally what most people do on a Saturday is maybe the household chores, running after some kids at their events and so forth that you may need to take them to, and then it's kind of just unwind, try and relax a little bit, do that sort of stuff. One of the things that I find that we don't do enough of is sit back and review the week that was to see what were the successes, what were the challenges, but best of all, what did we learn? How do we keep moving you forward in what it is that you're looking to achieve in your life? Now, for most of you, this may be brand new and the last thing that you want to do on a Saturday, but consistent with what I was talking about yesterday, high performance is no accident. The only way that you can achieve high performance is by implementing these strategies consistently in what I'm telling you, because success leaves clues, and you look at the other successful people around you, the highly successful, most successful people in the world in the areas that there's a success, and you will find what they're doing is consistent from day after day after day after week. They look what's working, what's not working. They have coaching around them to make sure that they can get the results that they want faster. And that's how they continue to have high performance. So today, what I want you to do is to set aside some time to do the tasks that we're about to walk through. Because if you're going to be a success in your health and fitness transformation, that could look like different things to each of you. So some of you it might be weight loss, some of you it might be performance. But I'm sure there's a fat loss element to pretty much everybody's journey. I mean, if I look at myself, people would look at me and say, well, you don't need to lose weight, you don't need to lose fat. Well, people normally think weight first of all. Say, oh, well, you're looking in good shape, you don't need to lose weight. Well, I think for me, it's around losing fat, trimming my body fat levels, because I want the muscles underneath the fat to, be showing more. So, I'm looking to do that, and in doing the work that I do with Kerry Potthast and talking to her about athletes and Olympic athletes and them training for high performance and so forth. She often talks to me about how the athletes want to be cutting down their body fat levels. Now, right now, at the moment, the Tour de France is on, and these guys, they're consuming so many calories through a race, and they're burning so many calories through a race. It's difficult for them to actually maintain their body weight because they are burning so many calories during these intense stages. I was listening to something yesterday. It's virtually impossible for them to be able to put back in the amounts of fluid through liquid, through consumption, because their body just can't get it in fast enough. So, in order for them to be able to, rehydrate themselves fully, they really need to have, like a drip and so forth, because it's burning out so quickly from them that they just can't replace it. And I've heard many professional cyclists talk about it. I was listening to a podcast that Lance Armstrong and George Hincapie do each day on the Tour de France, and they're saying you just can't do it. You just can't replace it. So even for these elite athletes, they'd be sitting down and reviewing each day and saying, oh, what could they do better? So, but for most of us, it's going to be around, okay, what can I do better through what worked through the week in terms of what I'm eating, what I'm doing, and this is what I'm talking about right now, what we're going to go through in a little bit of detail. So think about what your health and fitness goals are, what it is that you're looking to achieve. And the first thing that I want you to do is, to be honest, I would get out a piece of paper for this so that you can write down the outcomes of this thinking process. So the first one is I always like to look at, so if you look at the last 7 days or 10 days, however long we've been going now, I think it's about, It's about 9-10 days now since we've started this discussion. If you look at the last 7 to 10 days, I want you to look at, right at the top of the page, successes. I want you to write down what are all the successes that you have achieved over this last 7 to 10 days. Now, for a lot of us, that can seem difficult to start with. So I want you to write, and you might need to come back to this and listen to it again, but I want you to write as I'm listening, as I prompt you, and you can pop me on hold, pause if you need to. But in terms of your successes, just think about where we started all this time ago. If you've been doing all the work that I've said, then congratulations, that's a great change for you. First thing I said, moving more. I want you to move 10% more every day. And remember, that wasn't an accumulative 10% every day unless you wanted to do that. But in my case, by way of example, me moving 10,000 steps a day, my goal was to move to 11,000 steps. Now, by way of full disclosure, I'm going to go back and I'm going to tell you exactly. Let me just pull up the numbers here on my little device here. And when we first started this. All right, so we started on Friday, the 19th of July. So we've been going, in fact, today's Saturday, so what's that, 7-8 days. So I decided that on Friday, the 19th, that was the day that I was going to start doing the extra 10% of steps a day. So I did 11,272. Saturday, I did 19,034. Sunday, I did 13,631. Monday, I did 12,585. Tuesday, I did 12,315. Wednesday, I did 13,074. Thursday was a big one. I did 16,840. Yesterday, I did 14,807. So far today, it's only after 6 a.m. on Saturday, I've only done 1,300 odd steps so far today. But for me, that's a success. That's a win. I said that I wanted to do 10% more, and I've done 10% more every day. Where energy focus goes, energy flows. So that was my goal, done. Did you do it? Focus on the things that you were successful at and make a note on that. The next thing we spoke about was about getting in more fruit. Okay, so I suggested about replacing some of your snacks. There's a couple of things. A lot of people don't have snacks, so getting some snacks in and using some fruit as a morning, afternoon snack would be a good thing to do. So if you've done that, well done. That's another success. Write it down. The other thing there was about replacing the processed snacks, say something like a muffin or something like that, replacing that with some fruit. And again, another win there. So make a note in that area. Next day, we spoke about vegetables. So I said about getting in 3 to 5 serves of vegetables a day. Thinking about breakfast, maybe it was an omelette, like a veggie omelette with breakfast, getting in plenty of serves of salad or something like that, or vegetables at lunchtime, and then doing the same again in the evening. And maybe you had some others in there as well as a snack. One of the ones that I often give people is like your low-fat cottage cheese with some, like some celery or carrot or cucumber or capsicum or something like that, and using it like a dip. So you might have had an extra serve also there. So again, that's a success for you. The next thing we talked about was your omega-3s, like your good fats and some water. So making sure that you're getting in 1.5, 2 litres of water a day. Did you up your water from where it is now? If you did, that's a success. Did you get some omega-3 in? Did you add your flaxseed, flax meal, flaxseed oil, those types of things to your food, to your meals? That's been a success. Did you add some fish oil to your supplementation throughout the day as well? Again, that would be another success. What did you do in terms of your strength training? I spoke about doing 3 sessions of strength training for most people a week. So like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, something like that. How did that go? Again, if you were doing that, if you've gone from nothing to do one thing, is that a success or a failure? Well, it's just a success, isn't it? Because you've started doing something. If you did your 2 sessions, that's a success. If you did your 3 sessions, it's a success as well. And then yesterday, I spoke about setting your each day up for success. Like today is a Saturday. I have my outcomes for today written down, and it's just after 6 a.m. and I've got everything written down that I want to achieve for the day. So what does that mean? I'm very focused on what it is that I want to do. And I have one in there which is about connecting with the kids. So making sure that we do things where I'm going to connect with the kids, have some fun with the kids, as well as do a couple of things from a business, and also do a workout in there this morning for me as well. So I've got there's other things in there too, but I've got all of that already captured. So have you started doing that? And so, that was only yesterday. What the idea of this daily podcast is, if I can record this daily podcast, if I can put the thought into what it is that we're going to record, I've got to obviously plan that, I've got to record it, I've got to upload it, I've then got to share it. I mean, it takes work, doesn't it? But I do it because I know that you are going to benefit from it. Now, this is where you've got to do your part. You can't just listen passively, which means just sit there and do nothing. You've got to take the action every day. And that's the key thing about me doing this every day. You have to do things daily as well, because that's where you get change. Otherwise, you'll just get more of the same and you won't make those leaps and bounds forwards. And even though it may not seem like you're making these leaps and bounds forward, and it may be like one step after the other step, after the other step, etc., then it's progress, isn't it? You're putting one step in, or one foot in front of the other, slowly making progress. That's what's important. So if you've done that, congratulations. Now, let's have a look at, before I go on, think about any other successes that you can think of there. Maybe some of the other things that you want to write down are things like how you feel about what you've been doing. Like, I've never been able to stick to these things before, and now I am, and I feel fantastic. Whatever those emotions and feelings perhaps that you're having, that you can draw on to say, this is working. I'm enjoying this. I haven't done this before, and for the first time, I am making progress. Or I'm happy that I've started again because this is really what I need. Perhaps another success is that you've been listening to the podcast every day. You've been making progress every single day, and you're using this podcast as a stimulus for you to take action. All right, now we're going to look at what are the challenges. So out of all those areas that we just went through, if they weren't successes for you, then perhaps they were challenges. And maybe not all of them, but maybe some of them were challenges for you. Maybe even you were successful in some of these areas, they were still challenging. So I want you to write down what I put another heading, challenges, and I want you to write down what were the areas for you that you found challenging. And now I'm going to hazard a guess and say that most of you probably had some time management issues there, that you found certain elements of, doing things was time consuming. Maybe one of the challenges is to, it's going to come in the next step when we talk about, so how can we learn from this and move forward? But remember, for most of you, this is going to be new and you're not going to be used to, planning your days and being so focused on your health and fitness on a daily basis. It's just going to be something that you normally throw in there if you've got time. This is about taking everything that's in your skull and reorganizing it and saying, okay, well, actually, rather than it be this jumbled mess now, I'm now going to, if you like, think of it in terms of a filing cabinet and say, okay, I'm going to file these things away. And maybe before it was, let's think about it this way. You've got a filing drawer, like a filing cabinet. So I'm looking at one right now. There's a 4-drawer filing cabinet. Now, the filing cabinets that I use in here are really just used for storage. So there's none of those, like those wire things with have the manila folders or whatever that sit inside them. There's none of those. So imagine your filing cabinets are maybe like that, where in your head, where you've just got all the papers and everything, they're just sitting in there. What I'm asking you to do with this process is to say, okay, it's time to take all those papers out. We need to create some tabs and some files, and you need to be filing these things in some logical order so that you can say, okay, well, yes, I can see that these are the things that I need to do and here's the order that I need to do them in, and I need to do them consistently. Maybe this is what needs to happen in your mind for your time management, because like I said before, where focus goes, energy flows. And these are probably areas that you haven't been focused on like this before. So it's a new skill that we need to keep practicing so that we get better at it. And that's where the high performance living comes from. That's where your life starts to change. So other challenges, so time management could have been one of them. Maybe you felt a little bit overwhelmed by all the things that you needed to do. Maybe you found it challenging to think that, well, I can do this for a while, but I can't do it forever. Maybe that was a challenge for you. Now, we're going to talk about how you can push through that. Remember, the idea here is to implement simple, easy changes that you can keep on going with. Not something that's going to be so overwhelming that you can't do. And I would say if you have got to the position where you say, oh, well, it was just too much for me, then I'd say, well, we need to just check in on that, because maybe you've tried to do too much too quickly. There's a few reasons why people fail when it comes to their health and fitness journey, and they're kind of at opposite ends. One is people go too hard, too fast, so they push themselves too quickly. And the other one is that they don't push hard enough and they don't get any sort of results because they're just, just not pushing through hard enough. We've got to find that balance so that it's right for you. And because you may not be getting direct coaching apart from, this podcast, but you're not getting that one-on-one coaching from us, then maybe you don't quite have that balance right yet. And you think you're doing the right thing, but actually it's not. You're either too easy, too heavy on certain things. Maybe another challenge is that because you have pushed a little bit too hard, you're finding that you're so sore that it's making it really difficult for you to come back and do that next workout. You just feel so sore that you're not enjoying it. And so, well, okay, soreness, if you've gone from nothing to doing something, soreness is very natural because your muscles just aren't used to working in that range of motion when you do those first workouts. So that is normal. And if you're not used to having that sore feeling, it can feel a bit weird, and not everybody likes that feeling. So we I guess it's something you have to get used to. But normally when you first start, you won't feel that depth of pain again until you maybe push really hard down the track. It's just your body saying, wow, what did you do to me? I need to just recover a little bit. And the best way to do that is just walking, moving is a great way to help get the soreness out. And to go back and make sure that you do keep on exercising to get the blood circulating through those sore muscles. Making sure that you're drinking plenty of clean, fresh water so that you can help flush out the toxins as well. That's also something that's really important. So just examine in your own mind what were the challenges. And yes, I know that it could be a challenge to perhaps listen to this podcast every day. But hey, if I can take the time to record it every day, you've got certainly the time to listen to it. You've just got to make it a priority so that you can see that this is supporting you to get to a different place, because everybody wants something different. Everybody wants that higher level of achievement and performance. So I get it, but you've got to keep going. You must keep pushing, and that can also be challenging. You might say, oh, well, I've been busy at work this week. That might be a challenge. So what's that? Well, that's your time management again, isn't it? So many elements come down to your time management, and we're not talking about allocating massive chunks of your day to do these things. They're just little periods of time where I mentioned about doing like a 10-minute workout at home. I mean, anyone can find 10 minutes. I don't care who you are. You can find 10 minutes to work out. The food side of things, getting some snacks in. I mean, I haven't at this point said to you, okay, you need to be spending hours a week cooking. Or right now, all I've said is that I want you to get in a couple of pieces of fruit. I want you to make sure that you're getting in extra serves of vegetables. Now, there's many easy ways that you can do that. You can go out and just buy pre-made salads and that kind of stuff from the supermarket very cheaply. Like I shop at Aldi here for my salad, pre-made salads. They're $2.99. $2.99 for a massive salad. It doesn't require any effort from me apart from opening it. So that you've got all those options around you. Just stop finding the excuses and step up for yourself to do the work. So now the next heading is, so what have we learned? How do we keep moving forward? How do we grow? And how do we keep pushing ourselves to get to that next level of where we want to? Now, you say, well, aren't you where you want to be? Well, no, I'm always looking to improve. Always. Every single day I get up, I think, okay, what can I do today to make it better than yesterday? Or I had a great day yesterday, so how do I keep my momentum moving forward to achieve the success that I achieved yesterday? And then it's about implementation. So through what it is that you've just written down, the successes and the challenges, what have you learned from that? How do we keep moving you forward? What can we do to make things better? So think about your time management, for instance, if that was something for you. Think about, okay, what are the challenges there? Have a look at your notes. Was it you were too tired? Was it that it was too late at night? Was it too early? Were you just too busy for the week? And I would say, well, you're going to be busy pretty much every day, because I don't know anyone that says to me, yeah, you know what, I just got nothing to do. I have so much time on my hands. The kids are not taking up any time at all from me. It's just so easy. And work is really backed off. There's just hardly anything to do. We just sit around the office doing nothing. I mean, that's a fanciful world, isn't it? I mean, we have so many deadlines that we need to meet. There are so many commitments from our children and so forth that it's really tough. It's really tough. And normally, if you're in a relationship, you're working 2 jobs lots of travel if you live out where I am, and it becomes really, really difficult. So we need to look at all that and say, well, how do we manage it differently? And that can seem challenging. So I guess what you need to do is to challenge the existing norms that you have. Now, I found that there was a time in my life where I was, like over the last 12 months, where I was finding that I was being pulled in many different directions and I wasn't achieving the things that I needed to achieve. So I was missing out on, looking after my health and fitness, but in the way that I wanted to, because I was sacrificing it for other people or other things, and it wasn't serving me the way that I wanted to, look after myself. And it meant that other things also didn't get done. So what was my resolution around that? And I looked at the high performance people that I was following at the time, and still do, and listening to what it is that they do. And if you've heard me talk about this on another podcast, but I decided that I needed to get up much earlier. And that was, if I'm going to be a great success, like the best at what I do, then I said, so here are the most successful people in the world in the areas of their expertise. And whether that be somebody like Jeff Bezos or Warren Buffett or Bill Gates, or what Steve Jobs used to do, or Elon Musk, if I hadn't already said him, Richard Branson. All of those people get up super early in the morning. And you're talking like somewhere between, some of them between 3, 5 a.m. in the morning. Now, I was getting up at 5:30, or normally 6, maybe 5:30 at the absolute earliest sometimes. So I thought, well, hang on, if you want to achieve this world level in what it is that you do, how do you expect to do that by getting up at 6, 6:30, 7 o'clock and then being tired and stuff all day? How do you expect to do that? So I thought, well, I can't. I thought, what would you do if you had an extra 2 hours in your day? And I thought, wow, with that 2 hours, I could do this, this, and this. And then, before my day started, I would already feel like I've been a success by, doing these things. And that would be fantastic. So what I did was started getting up earlier. So I now get up at 4:20 in the morning. And I started at 5, and I did that consistently for a while. Then I changed it to 4:59, just that psychological thing of being before 5 o'clock. And then I brought it back to 4:20. And that really worked well for me. And now I have just set my days up for success right from the very beginning of the day. I get so much more done. I feel so much more fulfilled through my days because I've given myself that extra time. And yes, is it hard to get up at 4:20? Well, nowhere near as hard now as it was because it becomes a habit, because I've been doing it for well over 90 days now. And it's just, the alarm's at 4:20. I don't even think about it. I just get up, even on a Saturday. This morning it went off and up I get. Now, it was a little bit after 4:20 this morning. I was very tired, late night, but I got up. And so what it means is, if you think about what it is that you're doing in terms of, say, what other people are doing. So on a Saturday, most people might be getting up at, 8, 9 o'clock maybe, something like that. Well, I've been up for 4 or 5 hours and done a whole bunch of things by the time people have even got up. Now imagine if you do that for 365 days of the year. Now you've got over, 1,500 extra hours in your year of productive time over everybody else. Now, if you have or forget about everybody else for a second and just think, okay, well, it's just you. Imagine if you went from being time poor to all of a sudden having an extra, I'm going to work that out, that's an extra 62 and a half days, I'm talking 24-hour days. Imagine putting an extra 62 and a half days, an extra 2 months of time into your life. What would you do with an extra 2.5 months? Now, I can tell you right now that most of you, if you had an extra 2.5 months, you just let it waste away. And you'd say, oh, well, I'd be sitting down, I'd be relaxing more, I'd be doing this, this, and this. That's what most of you would be doing. But if you were a high performer, what you would be doing is saying, I'm going to get more done. I'm going to do these things. And that's what I do. I take that time and say, how can I be more productive than what I am? What else can I do to take my level of living to a higher standard? Whether it's my health, whether it's business, relationship stuff, whatever it is, that's what I look to do with it. So this is what I want you to also do. Look at your time management and say, well, maybe you don't want to go crazy and say, well, I'm not going to do what Rob does and get up at 4:20. You might say, oh, well, I want to get up at 3:30. So, well, what does that mean at the other end of the day? It means you've probably got to go to bed a little bit earlier. But maybe you say, well, actually, I normally get up at 7 o'clock every morning. So I'm going to start getting up at 5:30, for instance. And what would that do for you if you got up at 5:30? Maybe it's 6 o'clock. Maybe it's 5. And you think, well, I'm going to get up at that time and I'm going to exercise then. Or you're going to do whatever else and then I'm going to exercise. Yeah, whatever it is, you find out where's the challenge for you. This is an opportunity. Not to say I can't do it because I don't have this. That may be your mindset of the past. Do not make it the mindset of the future. Your mindset of the future is I must do this and I must find the time to do it, and this is where I'm going to do it, and then just do it. That's the key. So time is a big one, okay? Because with time, you can achieve more things. Now, the next thing might be that, well, maybe you're feeling a little bit tired. Now, I would say the energy will come if you keep doing the things that I'm saying. So you live a healthier lifestyle and you will become more energized. Absolutely, you will. It may not come straight away and requires, some more consistent effort, but you keep doing this and you'll feel better. I guarantee it. You will just naturally feel better. So the consistency is the key there. So I think you've got the idea here. What I'm asking you to do is look at where are all the opportunities for you to improve here. Time is normally the biggest one that I see. If you find that you don't have that energy, then the lack of energy means that you will not get as much done. But you keep consistently doing the things with the food and the exercise, and you will find that you will become more energized and you'll start to be able to do more. You've just got to condition yourself to be doing those things consistently. It does require work, obviously, but it's worth it because you're worth it. And I think that's the key. The other thing to learn is, or the opportunity, I guess, when it comes to your challenges, and you can see in front of you now if you've written them down, because it's hard to keep all this stuff in your head. This is why I'm asking you to write it down. Say, okay, so with those challenges, are there any of those challenges that are a showstopper for you? Like, are there any challenges in there that you say, actually, this one is going to prevent me from doing this forever? Now, that's a major red flag, because there shouldn't be anything that stops you from doing this forever, because you need to be doing it forever. So you need to say, okay, so what have I done there? What did I get wrong? Have I gone too hard, too fast? Have I not gone fast enough? Have I not, pushed myself fast enough? Did I only do it for a day and then I kind of gave up because it seemed hard and I was a little bit tired? Have a look and see what are those things that have made it seem unsustainable for you. Because if you have made it unsustainable, you've done something wrong. You learn from that. There's no losing in this. We just learn from it and say, okay, what's the adjustment that I need to make? I'm going to use one example here. Maybe you set out to do a 30-minute workout and you could only manage 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Let's say you could only manage 15 minutes. Let's say that's not a failure, that's a success because you still did 15 minutes. So now you're thinking to yourself, maybe I can't ever do 30 minutes. That's just not going to be achievable. That's fine. Don't set yourself up to do 30 minutes. Set yourself up to do 10 instead. And consistently do 10. You say, oh, I could do 15. So just stick with 10. Just do 10 minutes. And after you've done 10 minutes consistently for a month, maybe then look to improve it, increase it. One of the things I find is that the more that you exercise, the more that you feel those good endorphins and you want to keep doing it. So I find that is a really powerful incentive to keep you motivated to pushing a little bit more. But let's set the bar a little bit lower so that you can feel great about what it is that you're achieving, because that's really powerful. So I think you've got enough examples here. You've got all the information you need to maybe finish this task off now yourself and say, okay, so what are the action steps that I'm now going to take to make myself successful, to overcome these challenges and keep moving us forward? Because even your Olympic athlete needs to set new goals, because what do you do once you've won the gold medal? If you've won the gold medal, there's nothing left, is there? It's like you've won it. You might want to win it again, but you've already won it. So what's going to drive you? You need to find that something else within you that's going to drive you to even greater heights. You can do this. You're listening to me. I have faith in you. I deliver content every single day to help support you and drive you to get you to a place where you thought that you could never get to. Because believe me, it is possible, because if I can achieve this, if I can do it, anyone can do it. It just requires conditioning. Practice, learn, do it again. Have fun over this weekend. Have fun with this task. Make sure you do it, because tomorrow we're going to talk about something special. Have a great weekend or great Saturday, and I'll see you tomorrow.